This is the Behind the Line podcast, coming to you from the wacky left coast capital of Seattle. News from the Pacific Northwest, the left coast, the U.S., and the world that matters. The stories the MSM won't talk about. Deciphering the truth through all the lies. For more, visit BehindTheLinePodcast.com.
Here's some breaking news for Washington State. The Washington State Senate on Saturday approved an assault weapons ban, a measure long sought by gun control advocates. HB 1240 passed the Senate in a 27-21 vote with one excused. The measure will go back to the House since it was amended by the Senate before it was sent to Governor Jay Inslee. The Washington State House in March passed the measure on a largely party line, 55-42. If the bill is signed into law, which it's going to be, Washington would join 9 other states that have enacted laws generally banning the sale, manufacture, and transfer of assault weapons, according to the Giffords Law Center to Prevent Gun Violence. And I wonder how much that is done to actually prevent violence in those locations. Very little, I'm guessing. Attorney General Bob Ferguson praised the move, saying that the Senate put public safety above the interests of the gun lobby. Yeah, okay. Democratic Governor Jay Inslee watched the House vote in the chamber last month and called it very important. It is something that I've believed in since 1994 when I voted to make this federal law, said Inslee, who served in Congress before becoming governor. He said the legislature had broken the NRA's lock on Washington and that the vast majority of Washingtonians support this common-sense measure. Okay, bud. With gun deaths hitting the highest mark seen in decades in the U.S., Democrats in Washington State have fixed their majorities to push the assault weapons ban while advancing other gun restrictions, including a 10-day waiting period for purchases and a bill that would hold gun makers liable for negligent sales. When are we going to start holding automobile manufacturers guilty for drunk driving accidents? Or beer manufacturers, or alcohol manufacturers? That's the same line of thinking. During the debate on the assault weapons bill, Democrats spoke of mass shootings frequently carried out by men wielding assault-style weapons such as AR-15s that have killed people in schools, churches, nightclubs, and grocery stores. State Rep. Daria Farivar, a Democrat from Seattle, lamented a modern cycle of deaths, sadness, thoughts, and prayers, and then back to business. She said she has experienced a shooter lockdown, and she decried the fearful reality faced by school children. Well, just put some armed guards at the schools and that'll put an end to that. But no, we're not going to do that. Instead, we're going to attack law-abiding citizens because this will do absolutely nothing to stop criminals from getting guns in their hands. Republicans argued the ban violates the federal and state constitutions and predicted it would be overturned. They also contend it would not stop criminals or prevent mass shootings while infringing on the rights of law-abiding people seeking to defend their families. Firearms are the great equalizer, said State Representative Travis Couture, Republican from Allen, touting their use to defend against all sorts of predators. The House bill lists more than 50 specific gun models that would be banned from future sales in the state, including military-style weapons such as AR-15s, AK-47s, and M16s, which you already can't buy in this state, you idiots. The M16, that is. It also lists characteristics of prohibited firearms, such as semi-automatic rifles with a length of less than 30 inches, and those that have detachable magazines or fixed magazines with a capacity of 10 rounds or more. Lawmakers have advanced the firearm restrictions as part of a package announced in December by Inslee and Attorney General Bob Ferguson. The State House also in March passed House Bill 1143, requiring a 10-day waiting period and safety training before all gun purchases. They had already been required for semi-automatic rifles. The state Senate last week approved a bill that would give the Washington Attorney General's office the authority to hold gun manufacturers or sellers liable for gun sales that result in the weapons landing in the hands of criminals or mass shooters. How exactly does that work? Each gun measures must still be considered and voted on in the coming weeks by the opposite chamber in the legislative session set to continue into late April. Folks, your rights are being violated hard. You are losing your right to protect yourself in the state of Washington. And as per usual, the criminals in this state have all the rights, have all the opportunities to take advantage of you and hurt you, take your property, etc., etc. This has to be stopped. This is the time for you to reach out to your representatives in the House and let them know this is not right. Also be a good time to reach out to gun rights organizations so that lawsuits can be lined up, because that's probably the route we're going to have to go, is to have this overturned, not in the state Supreme Court, because, the state Supreme Court is going to back Inslee. We're going to have to seek justice outside of this state, because the current administration and the Democrats in this state do not want you to have the right to defend yourself. They don't even understand what these guns are. They like to pretend that it is the guns that commit the crime and not the crazy-ass people on the other end of the trigger. It only takes a few minutes to send an email to your representative. Please take the time to do that. See if we can somehow salvage this before it goes too far.
Thank you for listening to the Behind the Line podcast. If you like this broadcast, please like and share it. Please follow us on Facebook, Rumble, YouTube, Twitter, Truth Social, Telegram, Gab, Parler, and LinkedIn. You can find our podcast at BehindTheLinePodcast.com, NetNewsNetwork.net, and on Anchor, Spotify, Amazon Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and anywhere podcasts can be found. Thank you for your support.